everybody. Thank you for attending today's APICS Chapters and Partners New Brand Guidelines webinar. Please be sure to mute your computer microphone and phone during today's presentation. Henry, can you get us started?
Certainly, Kim. Good afternoon. This is Henry Wingfield Jones, Director of Global Channel Operations and Services. I'd like to welcome all of you to today's APICS Chapters and Partners Branding Guidelines webinar. This is a live event and will be available for questions at the conclusion of the presentation. The purpose of today's webinar is to provide APICS chapters and partners with an understanding of APICS chapter and partner branding guidelines within the Association for Supply Chain Management family. The launch of ASCM is an important evolution in the long and rich history of APICS. We understand what an important change this exciting new development represents for APICS chapters and partners, as well as for the overall APICS partner community. Our teams, channel and marketing, are committed to working with all of you to ensure our entire community realizes the full benefit and potential of the new ASCM, while not losing focus, passion, or commitment for the important role APICS certifications and professional development will play within the new ASCM. I'd like to introduce my co-presenters today, Jessica DePinto, Director of Partner Engagement and Innovation, and Kim Monroe, Channel Partner Marketing Manager. Here are the topics we're going to cover today. First, we're going to review the foundation for the new brand guidelines. Then we're going to talk specifically about the brand guidelines for the APICS Channel Partner Network. We're going to have a wrap-up followed by a live Q&A. The channel and marketing teams have collaborated on a comprehensive APICS chapter and partner brand guidelines to provide the foundation for APICS brand excellence and success. We understand the crucial role that you play in protecting and growing the APICS brand. So we will review a few of the key sections with you today. Before we begin going through the brand guidelines, I want to remind you of the important role that you, our valued partners, play in championing the value and importance of the APICS brand identity. Remember, the APICS name and logo are not going anywhere. We've built a strong brand and reputation since we were founded in 1957, and will continue to build and strengthen the APICS brand as ASCM emerges into the new global leader in supply chain management for individuals and corporations. Let's revisit the why behind the guidelines. Upholding and promoting the APICS certification brand helps to strengthen and grow APICS. APICS is an important market-leading brand in the certification and professional development arena. APICS reinforces the expertise and trust that defines the relationship that you've cultivated with your learners and your community. Some things to consider. The APICS Channel Partner Mark is the method for APICS chapters and partners to show their relationship with the Association for Supply Chain Management. Upholding and promoting the APICS certification brand strengthens and grows community. The 2019 Channel Program document will require APICS chapters and partners to use the new APICS Channel Partner Marks on their website, which will describe your relationship to ASCM. You are a part of the ASCM Partner Network. So APICS chapters and partners are not authorized to use the ASCM logo in any other manner because we don't want to confuse the market by introducing two marks, but we've developed the Channel Partner Mark with you and your customers in mind. Kim?
As Henry mentioned, APICS is an important market-leading brand for certification and professional development. The APICS logo will still remain throughout our certification and courseware, collateral, and messaging.
We understand there's a lot of change, and so we want to walk you through the brand guidelines, as Henry said earlier, giving you an overview of the key sections and what they mean for you, what they mean about the new APICS Channel Partner Mark universe, the brand elements that are going to be common to all of our channel partners, North American chapters, and our global training partners. The brand elements that are specifically developed and designed for North American chapters. And we will provide a link to the recording, the brand guidelines, and FAQs after the webinar. The brand guidelines are available on CBOX. As Henry mentioned, the brand guidelines are rooted in a common goal, and it's really a mutual commitment to cultivate partnerships and protect the brand. It's an extension of our channel program. In fact, we updated these guidelines to emphasize the importance of the branding to our partner relationship. The guidelines are a living document, and so as such, they'll be updated as new information is developed and as additional clarification is required. Henry?
This is a list of the topics that are covered in the Partner Brand Guidelines document. Please note that these guidelines cannot and are not intended to provide a solution for every situation. We highly recommend that you review the guidelines in their entirety to ensure that you have a clear understanding of each section. Now we'll review how to use the brand elements for APICS channel partners and for APICS chapters. These branding elements are to be used on your website and any other public-facing medium. The APICS channel partner marks signal the strong relationship that exists between ASCM and its APICS partners. As we'll see in the next few slides, all chapters use the APICS channel partner mark, but all partners, use the APICS channel partner mark, but the APICS North American chapters also have their own unique brand identity. With the launch of ASCM and the new APICS Channel Partner Network and Logo Universe, please add the APICS Channel Partner mark indicating your program tier on your website as soon as possible. We would like for all of these changes and updates to be made by April 30th, 2019. We'll cover the new channel partner logo usage in the brand guidelines in detail. You'll notice the channel partner program status varies by your program tier. This universe applies whether you are a North American chapter or a global training partner, not a chapter. The distinction, the particular role and status. For example, chapters and partners or academic partners, authorized or premier. Kim?
APICS channel partners will receive a package containing the channel partner marks in color and grayscale in commonly used file formats. Use only the art files provided by APICS to ensure proper usage and color reproduction. Size and placement of the APICS global channel partner marks and chapter logos varies depending on usage. To clearly present the partner relationship, all materials using an APICS channel partner mark need to be legible and have a clean and uncluttered appearance. Where you see logo in these examples, this is where you would place your chapter logo or your company logo for non-chapter partners. The guidelines include all the information you need to create or enhance your existing collateral and website, including font styles, color palettes, and image usage. Read through the guidelines for the acceptable typeface, color, and imagery option. When in doubt, contact Channel Services or the marketing team for guidance. As you can see from these examples, the channel partner mark cannot be displayed in any other color other than white. A channel partner relationship affords each partner with special status the ability to be clearly associated with APICS and to express that partner relationship using the appropriate chapter logo or channel partner mark on marketing materials that are specifically related to the APICS partnership. All marketing materials using an APICS chapter logo or channel partner mark should have a clean, uncluttered, and professional appearance, enabling the APICS brand to clearly communicate the partnership. Additionally, partners are expected to follow the guidelines presented in the guideline document. Inconsistent use of the APICS channel partner mark or the introduction of different colors or elements dilutes the APICS channel partner program image and potentially creates confusion about the program. Again, if you have any questions regarding the uses of the channel partner mark, please contact the marketing department at the email address on this slide.
APICS training partners are required to use the APICS channel partner mark shown on the left and your company logo. With your company logo, you self-identify your individual entity or organization. APICS chapters are required to use the APICS channel partner mark shown on the left and your APICS-created chapter logo. The chapter logo uniquely identifies your organization as part of the long-standing APICS North American chapter membership community. APICS North American chapters have a unique branding element. This does not change with the launch of ASCM. In the next section, we'll review how to properly use your APICS North American chapter logo.
APICS chapter logos establish chapter entities as part of the APICS brand, allowing for a local identity. Vertical and horizontal versions of the chapter logos are available. Size and placement, again, of the APICS chapter logo will vary depending on your usage. And remember, there are restrictions for use of the APICS logo. Introduction of different colors, elements, or images that dilute the APICS image and potentially create confusion about the organization are prohibited. These restrictions apply to all our logo and mark treatments. Review the guidelines for samples of the logo restrictions. And marketing still in the process of updating the channel marketing toolkit, brochures, and sell sheets for 2019. We'll notify you as these items become available. If there's a particular item that you're looking for, please contact the channel team and I'll work with them to fulfill your request. And we appreciate your patience as we work through all of these changes. And with that, the official launch of ASCM is this coming Tuesday, January 22nd. So with that, pages and links from the APICS site will either have been removed or moved to ASCM. And we'll be setting up redirects as well, but we encourage you to check your websites to ensure that you don't have any broken links. And if you do, and you're unable to determine where you should link to, please submit your request to the email on this slide. And we know everyone is anxious to receive all of the updated marketing materials. And in the interest of being transparent, we haven't been able to get to everything. I can tell you that we've updated much of the partner materials, and we've submitted the requests and they're being worked on. And as it stands now, we're expecting to have much of it completed by the end of February. And since the changes to the collateral are minor, we suggest that you continue to use the current brochures and sell sheets that you have so that you can operate business as usual. We don't want to hold you up at all. And then one thing that I do want to point out is that the new certification brochures, they won't be separate anymore, so there won't be a separate learning system and a certification brochure. It's going to be, each certification will be combined into one comprehensive program brochure. And I also want to tell you some of the things that we have actually completed. There's now an APICS partner booth pop-up, and this you can reserve through the channel partner team to use for your events. There's also a membership matrix and, of course, these brand guidelines that we're going through today. And then, as I mentioned in a previous slide, we'll notify you as each of these items become available. And then we also want to remind you that you do need to implement your channel partner program tier mark on your website by April 30th.
Thanks, Kim. Now we're going to introduce a section that's new to the brand guidelines. We have a section on ASCM and APICS trademark considerations. Not necessarily really new, but we've just added additional elements to it. We entrust our partners with one of our most important assets, and really they provide significant value to our entire community. It's our APICS and ASCM brand elements and trademarks. We understand that you strive to honor your obligations to correctly use the trademark, and that if there are errors, it's mainly non-intentional. The brand guidelines have a new section which more clearly identify the trademarks, the partner marks, and the rights and responsibility in using them. So we encourage you to review this new section in the guidelines, because not following the brand guidelines for proper usage is considered trademark infringement. So what are the trademarks? Your channel partner marks, the APICS logo, the certification marks like CPIM, CSCP, CLTD, that's just an example. The current list can be found at apics.org/trademarks. Henry and Kim talked a lot about the usage. What does this mean really? Well, you have certain rights that are granted under your written license agreement, and it's for the duration of your partnership. So what that means is discontinue using the APICS channel partner mark or any of the APICS logos immediately if you're no longer partnering with us. We'd be sorry to see you go, but this is one of the elements of the usage rights. Trademark names and designations. So what this means is using the correct trademark name and its designation, R with a circle, or if it's a pending registration, the trademark, are also important to the correct usage. And finally, the placement. Correct placement is important. Henry and Kim went over this very thoroughly in their areas of the presentation. Review the brand guidelines before you promote ASTM and APICS trademarks with a competitor solution or in conjunction with promoting another company's solution, just to avoid any conflict. When using the APICS channel partner mark or logos online, actively link it to the APICS Global Public website, apics.org. This is a big change for our community, and together we help each other. As Henry said in her presentation, it's a mutual commitment. It's a big change for all of us here, for you, staff, volunteer leadership. Know that the transition to ASTM still will require a lot of consultation, support, and conversation, so that the entire organization, including you, our valuable APICS chapters and partners, receive the information and help needed to make the most of this exciting new adventure in our company's history, in our community's history. Please know that we're monitoring your feedback closely and we're here to listen. It's at the heart of our webinar series since October, and we'll continue to do so throughout 2019 and beyond. And now we'll have some time for some questions. Please submit your questions by selecting the question tabs on the toolbar, which is located on the right side of your screen. You can enter your question and click send. You can also choose to raise your hand, just like you're in a classroom, and we can take a couple of questions live. We'll answer as many questions as we can today. All questions will be captured, answered, and posted in a Q&A document that will be available along with the recording of this webinar. Everyone who registered, whether or not they were able to attend or not, will get an email with the link. So just give us a moment while we look at the question box, and if you want to ask the question live, feel free to raise your hand.
Henry, there's a question here that came through. It says, you mentioned using the company logo with the APICS, it said with APICS certification logos, but I'm thinking it means with the partner marks. And it says, I don't understand what this statement means.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you, Randall, for that question. And just to clarify, on the, if we can kind of go back, Kim, to that slide, maybe. We can show you that there are the marks that will show, and for the APICS North American chapters, you have not used these marks before, but there will be the marks that will show that you are a premier chapter or a channel chapter or a network partner, and then you'll use that mark along with the APICS chapter logo. So the APICS Falls Cities chapter logo will go along with the APICS channel mark that will show that you are an APICS channel partner. Our international partners have been using those marks a little bit longer, so I think they're more familiar with using those marks than the North American market is.
And I'll answer, I see a question on Star Chapter. It says, is Star Chapter going to update our website as it's done the last change with the APICS logo? Yes. We will be updating the Star Chapter sites. I don't know the exact timing of it yet, but I do know that that's part of our launch plan, is to have those all updated for you. So everything should hopefully automatically update at some point in time here. It shouldn't be too far off. I know that really the goal for a lot of these pieces is the end of February, so we'll keep you notified on the STAR chapter as well, and let you know if there's anything that we need our partners that have STAR chapter, if there's anything they need to do on their end. But we'll do all the global changes for you.
Thanks, Kim. I see another question. I can take it. Why can't I use my own design chapter logo to identify in my market, long-standing logo? As an APICS chapter, you represent the APICS brand, and that brand is a bridge that connects the APICS body of knowledge to the certification marks and to professionals who embody that knowledge and certification. And we understand that it's part of how you distinguish yourselves in a local market. And how you promote that APICS brand in your local market is really an expression of your community. So what courses you offer in your community or companies in your area to meet their needs, how you volunteer and engage in local economic development initiatives, how your organization presents itself to your clients, your learners, and the professionals you serve.
Okay, click on that, Tom.
Yeah. And it looks like we've got a question live from
Tom Chambers.
Tom Chambers.
Just a second here. Okay, Tom, we should be able to hear you now.
Okay. My question is, we're updating our website now. We don't use STAR chapter. Just need to know, are there any other branding guideline changes that will be coming in the near term over the next few months that you can see?
I don't know of any at the moment. I would just follow what we have in the guidelines. If there is, we'll make sure that we notify everybody if there's anything that we want them to change globally across all websites. But pretty much now, as it stands, it's just the way the guidelines are.
That's all I need. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Tom, I will add to that, if you want to review your website with someone in channel and want us to have a look at it just to see if there's anything that's missing or that we could potentially add for you, we're here for that as well. So just reach out to us.
Right. We're doing a major facelift right now, so it's in work right now.
Great.
Thank you.
It looks like we have another one from Terry Giannetti. Henry, do you want to speak to that? Who will receive the channel partner mark communication at the local chapters?
We will send that communication for chapters to the president or whoever is listed as the chief executive officer for the chapter. And if it's easily identifiable to us who the marketing or communications or web individuals are, we'll send it to those individuals as well. We're not going to send it to everyone on the chapter board, but we will make sure that the presidents receive it and any of the communications or marketing officers.
Hi, yes, and there's another question here from Marcus Brown that it says that he's also part of a printing facility, and using the marketing standards, are we able to print our materials locally? I believe we have allowed that in the past, that you can print them out locally. I would just suggest that you use we'll have the sell sheets and the brochures, and the sell sheets and brochures will be customizable so that the partner information can be added to them. So, and I know that they're almost complete, and we'll let you know on that. But as far as like creating your own, we don't recommend it. We recommend you use what we're giving you, but you can print them locally.
Can I clarify too that we're talking about you can print marketing materials and promotion materials locally. You cannot print learning systems or APICS courseware locally.
Oh, good point, Henry. Thank you. Oh, and here's a real good one. It's from Paolo Mondolfo. What about the green ASCM logo? Can it appear on our websites? No. Only the APICS logo can appear on your websites. And that's one thing that I don't know if we were clear in here, but we only want the APICS logo to appear on your websites.
We created Paolo, we created a unique channel partner mark for both North American chapters and the channel partners. It's what Henry explained in her section. Kim, I don't know if you want to go back to that slide. So we really encourage you to use that channel partner mark because it shows your relationship to ASCM.
Well, the marks are still up. So these marks that you see on the screen now, this is what we want you to use, not the ASCM logo. So, Honey Johnson's asking a question about, are you telling us that we must change our 60-plus-year-old chapter logo?
And we spoke to that, Kim, in the beginning. So, Honey,
I think she needs a little bit more clarification. She's asking for more clarification, Jessica.
So, Honey, what we're saying is that we really, in order to keep the continuity and the consistency amongst the brand, and as part of that relationship with APICS and ASCM, and as part of the community, that you use the chapter logos as indicated in the brand guidelines. Henry, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's it. But like as I said, Honey, if we want to talk about it offline a little bit more, we are here to talk about it.
And then, no, and I don't know the answer to this question, Henry, and because I am new to the channel partner community, it says, you know, when will they get those channel partner marks? And I didn't know if you were already working with Maddie on those or Stuart, having those all designed for the logo packages for everybody.
Yes, we all of the APICS chapters have their marks, and if you don't have your marks, all you have to do is ask someone in channel, and we will get one out to you. Those have been distributed before, but the APICS partner branding marks, the APICS certification and learning development branding marks, those will be sent to all partners by the end of the month, including the North American chapters. So we'll be sending out updated marks to everyone by the end of the month.
And someone was asking if there'll be high resolution, and yes, there'll be high resolution for, and they'll be in several file formats, as we mentioned in the webinar.
Mm-hmm.
What if this question is from Dawn, what if we're providing a link to the ASCM website? As we mentioned, Dawn, you want to make sure that if you are using any of the brand elements, and if you're using them online, your APICS channel partner mark or chapter logo online, you should actively link them to the APICS Global Public website, which will automatically link up to the ASCM website. There's a whole area specifically for APICS chapters and partners, and that's the section that still remains apics.org.
Yeah. And I know, because we've got another question on the ASCM logo as well, like if they're linking over to the website, ASCM website, can they use the ASCM logo? And no, it's just, you just can't use the logo at all. You just have wording or whatever it is you're linking to, you can use those words and link over to it if there's a specific site area within that, the ASCM website that you want to link to, but you can't use the logo.
And we are in the process of developing the webinar, the web elements that you could use to describe your relationship with ASCM as you link to it.
Right, and we'll get those. We're in the final stages. We were hoping to have those to you really soon, and there'll be actual wording that you can use for the relationship between APICS and ASCM, as well as what you can use to link over.
Are there any other questions that are coming live, Kim, that you see?
No, I haven't seen that anybody's raised their hand. Double check.
Kim, we had a question about student chapters. What about student chapters? And we are working on the logos for the student chapters because they will be APICS student chapters, but their members, as the members of professional chapters, will be ASCM members. So we will be clearly defining those relationships as well. So there will be logos for the student chapters that will be made available as well.
And then I see Joni Holman also has a question. It says, we're a channel partner. We work closely with chapters and universities. Can we use our branded logos on the same page along with theirs?
I'll take that one. And I'd asked Joni for a little bit more information, but I think I understand what she means. And the branding guidelines will also give you a little bit more detail too about the placement of things on the pages and how you can place your logos. It just needs to be very clear that if you're putting on an event, that there are two distinct partners or two distinct relationships on that page. So yes, you can put a North American training partner brand element on the same page as a North American chapter. You just need to be very careful about the placement so that it's not confusing to the market.
Here's a question, Kim. It's from Charlie Tang. Are we able to create our own marketing materials if it follows the guidelines, or are we limited to what is on CBOX? I think what Charlie is suggesting is if they have a particular event, maybe, you know, if they have a particular event that they want to promote, can they develop an invitation to that event so long as they choose the brand guidelines?
Yes, and you're more than welcome to do that, because we know that a lot of people have their own events and that they promote and create their own flyers and handouts. So as long as you follow the guidelines, you're more than happy to do that, to create your own on those.
And Charlie, if you needed additional flavor on that question, feel free to type it into the chat box. Yeah. Here's another question that we have, and Henry, you might want to take this one. What is this universe of which you speak?
Yes, it's kind of like the Marvel universe. If any of you are into Captain America, we now have the APICS Partner logo universe. It includes all of the APICS branding elements, the chapter logos, the certification courseware, channel partner, specific recognition, anything that is the APICS Partner community related, and the branding elements and the design elements that go along with that. That is what we refer to when we refer to the APICS chapter and logo universe.
And then I see another one for when you have, the question is, if we're hosting a joint event with another professional association, can our logo appear on the same flyer if the differentiation is clear? And that's kind of the same thing that Henry has talked about. And definitely yes. If you're doing a joint event with somebody, we're not going to tell you that you can't use the logo on there. Just make sure it's a clear distinction that as in any flyer or collateral that, here's the hosts of this particular event and you can use the names and the logos. That's more than acceptable.
We have a request to please share the slides, and as tradition, this question is from Yolanda in South Africa. We usually post both the video and the slides to CBOX, and I believe it's going to be under the marketing and sales section of CBOX. And as well, you'll get the slideware in the presentation as part of the recorded session, but the actual PDF of the slides themselves will be in C-Box, Yolanda.
Yep, and also when we send out the communication for the follow-up, and we'll provide you with the link that we showed earlier of where the actual guidelines are so that you can review them and go through. So if you have any more questions, once you review them, we're certainly happy to answer them for you.
This question is from Michael Brachante. Are membership recognition pins going to be APICS or ASCM?
Membership will be ASCM moving forward as of next Tuesday. So the membership pins will be ASCM. But any ribbons, like certification ribbons, will be APICS, if that helps. And there will be new membership kits will begin going out next Tuesday as well. And everything will, all the membership information will switch over to ASCM.
Thanks, Kim. And I think we might have answered many of the questions.
I'm not seeing anything else. I'm hoping we didn't miss anybody.
Anybody else that's on the live line? I don't think so. I don't see any hands raised.
Actually, here I see Joni's hand, and not unless we've answered everything, but let me go ahead and.
I think we answered Joni's question.
Joni, we can hear you now. Did we answer everything for you?
Yes, you did. Thank you very much.
All right, I just wanted to make sure because I see I missed your raised hand there.
I'm good.
All right.
And
I do have another raised hand here that I missed. Is Arthur Schaefer? Just a second. Trying to unmute him. Oh, Arthur, we should be able to hear you now.
Arthur?
Arthur, we might have lost him.
You might have lost Arthur.
Okay.
Arthur, if you still have a question, feel free to type it into the chat box.
Just a second here. For some reason it's being, oh, the attendee is self-muted. There we go. Arthur, we should be able to hear you now. Okay, we got it.
Okay.
Sometimes a little bit of technical difficulties.
Again, Art Schaefer from Central Jersey APICS. Our individual name badges that we wear for, our Central Jersey chapter, what do we have to do with those? Or is the ASCM going to be on there at all, or is it strictly a chapter pin or name tag?
It's going to be strictly the chapter, APICS chapter name tag, no ASCM logo.
Okay.
Because when you think about it, as you see in the channel partner mark, APICS, the partners, chapters and partners are still very much a part of APICS in promoting that brand. And so as the slide that's up there right now, APICS is really the certification and professional development brand, and it's part of the ASCM network. So continue to wear that pin.
Yep, so continue, you're fine.
Okay. Yeah, we're about to order more, so I just wanted to check on that. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thanks for joining us live on the telephone, Art.
Great. I love speaking to you.
We love speaking with you. I think we've covered them all. Henry, are you seeing something that maybe we need to cover?
No, I've gone through all the list. I don't see anything else.
So I think we've covered everything, and if anybody thinks, like I said, if anybody thinks of anything after you get off the phone and say, I should have asked this, again, feel free to reach out to marketing or the channel team, and we're all happy to help. We're all going through this together. There's a lot of changes and a lot of moving parts, and we're trying to get through everything as fast as we can. So again, like I said, we really appreciate your patience while while we're getting through this and working out some of the kinks.
And we'll continue. What we've decided to do is on Leadership Central Live, which is our monthly call with all of our partners globally, much like this one. We want to continue to make ASCM a living section of that. Our next one is scheduled for January 31st. So if we see questions that are actually coming through in the chat pod or questions that might come to marketing, a lot of times what we like to do throughout the months following is take those questions and make them part of Leadership Central, both our written newsletter as well as Leadership Central Live. So please join us for those monthly calls. Our next one is January 31st, and we'll be sending out, it's usually, I think we've got it scheduled, Kim, for noon Central Time. That's usually our typical time is noon Central Time. And we'll continue to have those calls either on a monthly or every other month basis. So once again, thank you for joining us. We know that this is a big change, and we're trying to be here for you since since the fall, and we look very much forward to this exciting new venture. Henry, I don't know if you want to say a farewell, and we'll
just thank you all for. Yes, thank you all for coming, and if anyone has any questions, as Jessica and Kim have alluded to, please feel free to reach out to the channel team. We'll be here to help.
Well, thank you. So with that, we'll conclude our webinar today.
We've got a couple of final pieces. So we want to thank you for joining us. All content and materials, including in this webinar, are property of APICS. They're protected by the U.S. and international copyright laws. All rights are reserved.